this episode comes to you because of popular demand. Loads of people getting in touch saying, what about bikes? Why don't you ever do anything about bikes? Bikes are really cool, they're really eco. So I said, all right then. So now I'm cycling along this country lane on a bike, just for you. Well, actually, the thing is, it's incredibly easy to ride because I'm getting a little bit of help. Whoa! People say electric vehicles will never catch on, they're too expensive to buy, there's no recharging infrastructure, there's loads of excuses as to why no one's going to ever buy them. Well, one of the little known facts is there are already over 125 million electric vehicles on the road around the world, and this is one of them. It's an amazing machine. I want one. I want this one. That is such fun. That is just the most brilliant fun. So, talk me through it really, because I've just been zooming around on it. It's like I've got the thighs of a gold medal Tour de France cyclist. So that's it. It's got an electric motor in the hub there.
Yeah, so there's a brushless electric motor in the hub, which is 250 watts,
right?
Which is the legal limit.
Yeah.
You then got your battery,
right,
which gives you the power, and then on the crank here, you have a torque sensor. So
right,
as you pedal, there's a spring-loaded effectively, and there's optical sensors. As you compress the spring, the optical sensors note, and it applies the power.
Wow. Because that is what it is, quite an odd feeling. So to get going, when you first sit on it, you're going, well, this is an electric bike.
No.
And then you suddenly find yourself going, and you go, my God,
suddenly you're
that's
off.
not me doing that, but it's really good fun to ride. And it's not, I mean, it isn't like, it is heavier than a sort of lightweight bike, but barely. I mean,
a lot of the weight now is in the motors, obviously the magnets and everything else.
Yeah.
Batteries are relatively light now, controllers, so it's 19 kilos.
It's basically exactly the same. It's got gears like on a regular bike.
That's right.
And the gear shift. I sort of got used to that in a minute.
The battery's removable, so you have a key.
Oh.
And out it comes. And
wow.
Very lightweight.
Oh my God, there's nothing. I was expecting it to be this huge, heavy thing. That really doesn't weigh anything. Presumably it doesn't take that long to recharge.
No, it's a couple of hours from flat, and that'll take you up to sort of 20, 25 miles.
So I'm going to see if I can put that back in.
Yeah. You just lock it in, and it's once it's in properly, it's secure.
Right, that is fantastic. But that means you can leave it in your shed, garage, outside the house, around the back, locked up. Take the battery with you, recharge it.
Yeah.
So what about this one then? When this one looks a lot chunkier and a bigger machine.
Yeah, well, I think the best thing, have a go.
Oh my God! This is an amazing experience. I am cycling up a hill. My legs are going around on the pedals, but honestly, it feels like I'm cycling along a slight downhill gradient. Because on this bike, the engine is a little bit more powerful. It's got a slightly bigger battery. I can go slightly faster. Other than that, it's exactly like riding a bike. It's got brakes there. It's got twist grip gears there. It's very, very smooth and comfortable bike to ride. If I put a little bit more pressure on the pedals, like that, then I start to speed up quite alarmingly. Apparently a very common question when people come across bikes like this is, can I recharge it just by pedaling it when it's stationary? The simple answer is no, you can't. It just doesn't work like that. If you sat still and pedaled for hours and hours and hours, which is what you'd have to do, you might be able to charge the batteries if you had a generator attached to the wheel, but that's not how these bikes work. They work by plugging them into the mains for a couple of hours, charging them, and then you cycle on them for miles and miles and miles. As you're going down a hill now, it's now recharging. On this bike, it has regenerative braking, so it is charging the battery back up again now. So one way of recharging it without plugging it in, go to the top of a very tall hill and then go back down. But no bikes, doesn't matter what the make is, can be recharged by pedaling. I'm just saying that to clarify it. That is fantastic. That is like a huge step up from the other one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you have to pedal, but it really shifts.
It really does go, yeah. So bring you around here, you've got the dropout on the bike, and you have the frame. And this little tiny sensor here, when you pedal, you create flex between these two little plates, and that little sensor picks it up, and that's how it knows how much power to apply. So the harder you pedal, the more
Because that's the thing that you really notice. I stood up and pedaled to get it going, and it just rockets forward, and you go, my God, this is frightening. And then if you just let your legs turn, it's still pushing you, but much, much gentler, so it can feel the difference between
That's it.
So how much do these retail for? These are more expensive. Probably.
Yeah. So for one of these, it's £1,999, so £2,000.
To be honest, it's almost a moped. I mean, to call it a bicycle is almost like it goes like a moped.
Yeah.
But you can adjust it so that it's like gently pushing you.
That's it.
Pushing you a bit more, or like going.
Let's just go for it.
But I've just seen that. I can't help. Look, I'm looking over your shoulder at that one. What's that one?
So this one is the Metro. So you say close to a scooter. This is the closest you can get to a scooter without being a scooter.
Right.
So it's power on demand, has a throttle. So again, if we stick you on it, take it for a spin.
Ooh. So now I'm cycling up a hill, and as you may notice, I'm not actually pedaling. So this really is the cheater's push bike, because you don't need to pedal on this one. It's fantastic. I mean, I can pedal. If I want to pedal, I can, but I don't have to. This is just so perfect. This is wonderful. I mean, it feels a lot more solid. It's got bigger tyres. The ride's really smooth and comfy. It's a bigger, heavier bike, but it's just really, really nice to ride. It's just that's in a whole other league, isn't it? It's extraordinary how different that is. So, I mean, the thing is that it does feel like a little moped, but you don't need a license for it. I mean, so it is effectively classified as an electrically assisted bicycle. It feels like it's just pushing those rules to the limit.
Yeah, it's close.
And is that the same thing though? Extractable battery?
Yeah,
rechargeable battery?
You've got two versions. You have the extractable battery on the rear, which works the same as the previous bike, or you have the battery in the frame. And you can either have both fitted, which give you a range of 40 miles, maybe a bit more, or you can have one or the other.
I see. Can you plug that battery in without taking it out?
Yeah, so the battery plugs in here.
Oh. So presumably then this is going to cost more than the other two we've seen. This is a bit more.
This one's 500 more than the last one, so 2,500.
Oh, right. So I get it. I mean, again, I'm somehow expecting it's because it's an electric vehicle and it's going to be prohibitively expensive. But actually, for what is effectively a little moped, it's a very different beast.
Well, if you think that's fun, wait a moment.
Ooh. Oh, wow, look at that.
So this is a Vectrix. So this is a fully electric scooter.
So you do have to have a full motorbike license to ride this?
You need a CBT, compulsory basic training, which is a day's training.
Right. And you need to have a helmet when you're riding it?
It fits.
Which fits? Oh, look at that. Oh, it's got lovely footrests.
Yep.
Oops. Sorry. Whoa, my God. Again, a really comfortable ride. I can tell a lot of accelerative power.
Yeah.
It looks quite sedate, the design of it. You don't think it's not going to be.
Yeah, but it shows typical torque of electric.
Okay. It's certainly got a bit of torque. And I see what you mean then. So you're twisting that way.
Yeah, so that way for acceleration, and then to slow down, it's quite fierce.
It is, isn't it?
And that
sounds like you put the brakes on.
Yeah, absolutely. And through traffic and country lanes and everything else, it does all the braking for you really. But it makes it quite relaxing as well because it's one motion. It's just forward and back on the throttle all the time. Spend more time looking where you're going.
Oh, look at that!
This is a Zero. So this is capable of about 90 miles an hour.
Wow.
It really is a fast bit of kit.
Wow.
Belt driven. Two different sizes of battery pack, depending on range, but the maximum claimed range is up to 115 miles.
Wow. And that's you can see, I mean, it's kind of very motorbikers because you can see the motor.
Yeah, exactly. You see the belt comes in, the motor, you've got your pack in the middle, so it's quite well balanced.
Is it? I mean, from a bike point of view of a bike, it's well balanced.
Yeah, absolutely.
You haven't got no petrol tank.
Nope.
So actually the weight is going to be, I mean, if you've got a full tank on a big bike, that's a lot of weight high up, isn't it? So
which is
all very low.
sloshing round.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, steady.
So, and obviously to ride this, you do need a CB?
Yeah, full license for this one.
Oh, full license for it. So you need to know how to ride motorbikes to ride this one.
Yeah, because it's much more powerful, but it still has the regen, but it works in a different way.
Right.
So this one works when you roll off the throttle, it just slows down gently
with
the regen, whereas this one, obviously, you've got more power over the regen.
Yeah.
And you've also got the Eco and Sport button.
Right.
So, depending on your mood.
Right, so you can ride it gently and sensibly, like a sensible person, or you can go like a hoon.
Yeah, as most do.
Yes.
And if you were to compare them to a petrol scooter, this is probably similar to sort of 250 to 400.
Right.
And this is most certainly a 400, maybe a bit more.
Right. Oh God, a 400cc bike, which is that's a big, powerful bike.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, go on, have a go on it. I'm expecting this enormous amount of noise, which is what you're used to with motorbikes.
Yeah.
All the time, but
None here.
Is it on? It's on now.
That's it on.
And if you thought that was cool, we got something tucked up our leather sleeve in part 2.